Hey, this is Jay from Gizmochi, and you're watching CMS TV. Oh, fuck yeah!
What's up, everybody? It is Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show, and this segment of the show is brought to you by Fitspresso. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break to tell you about a special product. If you're tired of diets and workouts with no results, then listen up. Fitspresso uses a 7-second morning loophole to help you lose fat effortlessly. Just add it to your coffee and watch the pounds melt away. This isn't a fad. Fitspresso is backed by thousands of hours of research. It's designed to supercharge your metabolism and burn stubborn fat all day. The best part, you can enjoy all your favorite foods guilt-free. Check out these success stories. Sarah from Texas lost 40 pounds in 2 weeks. John in Florida dropped 35 pounds in a month and feels 20 years younger. Emily from Ohio shed 50 pounds easily. Fitspresso offers a 180-day, 100% money-back guarantee. If you don't see the results you're looking for, you get your money back, no questions asked. So why wait? Just click the link in the description to find out more. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on this game changer. I mean, look at me. I'm svelte as could be now from Fitspresso. Get Fitspresso today and start your burning fat journey. Do it, fatties.
Is number one. Basically, I've got to the band Cave, who is some guys out of Stuttgart, Germany. We have a record out. It's called Out of the Cave. That's been out since March 15th, I believe. Getting great reviews. Actually, some of the best I've ever had. So very, very proud of that. Working with some great guys, all great musicians and good people. So we're already 10 songs into the writing process for number 2. And I'll be going over to Europe or back over to Germany, I believe in October, November for a while. We're doing some festivals, some shows. I'll lay down some vocals there at the Cave Studios. And very happy with that band, man. And I really dig the music. I flirted with a few different things over the years, Neeley, but recently I decided to go ahead and put Beyond the Wrath back on the table. And the reason being is, as you mentioned, our friendship, 20 years. Well, I interviewed with you guys, I believe it was my first interview, and that was 20 years ago on the Way to the World tour.
Right.
So September 28th is the 20-year anniversary, and I figured, well, why don't I go, put something together and go out and do the songs that I helped write and help keep the name, the Metal Church name alive and all that good stuff. It's time. I've done some things over the past and whatnot that I don't think the timing was right for me, and all that. But you live and learn, and with this, doing stuff that I helped write, of course, and it being Metal Church, that was my first band. That was my stepping stone.
Right.
And so and I love these songs, and I actually forgot how much I love them until I started listening to them again. Those are just some really cool stuff. Yeah, man.
Well, and one of the things that, at least for me as a fan, is no one else is doing those songs. For whatever reason, and I don't get it, but for whatever reason, those guys are not doing your era of the band. And to leave stuff like Light in the Dark, especially, and those songs off the table is criminal to me, because that's as good a Metal Church as any Metal Church that's ever been recorded. So it's great that you're going to be out there doing it and bringing that music back to life. It deserves more attention.
I appreciate that, Chris, and I thought the same thing. And I'll be honest, there was a couple times I was, you got to weigh things out. No pun intended. But anyway, Whether it was the right thing for me to do, and it's kind of like for a while there was a side of me. It was just like, maybe I'm just going to let it rest, but that was all how I was feeling inside at the time.
Right.
And then as things progressed and I started coming back out of my shell again, which if you can even believe I was actually even in a shell, well, ever, but I'm, back out redoing everything right now. Look, I'm 58 years old. I'm not old, but I still got my hair. I'm in pretty damn good shape, and I could still run around on stage. And also, I'm taking better care of myself right now than I have in years.
Right.
I mean, all the way around, staying away from bad things, getting really involved and going on dates with good things. Just basically living a good life the way a front man should. Because look, here it is with going out there and doing this. There's a lot of people that are going to rely on me and whatnot, and the show. And I want to be able to rely, number one, on myself. So,
right.
It's all cool. And so I'm excited about that. And, down the road, who knows what's going to happen in life, guys. But for right now, I've chosen just to take a different path and to make sure all these shows are stellar, because I got to represent, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I agree with you, Ronnie. I mean, anybody who's listened to this show over the years knows how much I harp on taking good care of yourself. Chris can tell you that. I mean, I'm a big stickler of that, and I've got 2 years on you. So,
well, good for you. Congrats, man.
Yeah, because I turned 60 this past Christmas. So, and I'm all for the taking care of yourself. I've been talking about that for, close to 2 decades on this show. And,
Yeah.
and, I've gotten made fun of it. Oh, you're eating like healthy, skinless, boneless, grilled chicken and vegetables and stuff. What a faggot.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but now if you eat string beans, then that's questionable.
But I've tried to impress, because a majority of our listeners are obviously the male species, and they kind of look to us to be. There goes Ronnie. Oh, he's back, I think.
He's here.
All right. Oh. And, they kind of look to us to be for advice for whatever reason. I mean, they're always asking Chris stuff. They're always asking me, what do you think of this? And how do you think of that? And, what do you do in this situation? To where it got so much, Ronnie, that I actually became a life coach.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I went through the whole course and all that kind of stuff just because of that. So I used this vehicle, this program, to try to help my fellow metalheads, and anybody who chooses to listen and wants to, take a little advice or take stock in themselves as you're doing. I'm glad to step in there and say, hey, here's what I would do.
Well, and it is, I've always liked to try to help people when I can, but again, the old adage, you can't help anybody else until you help yourself.
Right.
And, trust me, I'm not done partying yet, guys, but I desperately just needed to take a step away from all that and focus. And I'm telling you, man, I'm already feeling like I'm better than I felt in years.
That's good.
So, and again, back to like with the Cave, the guys in Cave, which that's already solidified. Like I said, great guys, great music. It's actually all the elements of styles of music that I like wrapped up into one band, which is pretty awesome for me, and with Beyond the Wrath, I got some really cool players. And I want to launch into that just real quickly, if you don't mind.
Sure, go.
Well, our first show will be in Harmony, Maine, at the Harmony and Horror Fest in Harmony, Maine on July 21st. But
Nice.
this is like a 3-day event. So it's the 18th through the 21st. We play Sunday night. I guess we're gonna close it. Well, no, actually. Anyway, we play Sunday night. Saturday night, Green Jelly.
Okay.
They'll be there. But this is like classic horror films, and showing them, and booths, things, trinkets, and all kinds of different cool stuff. And the guy that's putting it on is very cool, and they've been doing this for quite a while now. But Horror and Harmony, I think, is relatively new. And everything I've watched and have been told is just it's a great time, and I'm excited about that. We're going to get there early. Actually, we're going to get there on the 18th, so I can kind of hang out for a little bit and watch some bands and just experience, the whole experience.
Right on.
Yeah.
Now, Ronny, how do you go about picking which songs you want to do from? I'm assuming not only from your era of Metal Church, but I'm sure you're going to I'm guessing you're going to do a couple of the classics, because you sang them for years, for a decade, you sang them as well. How do you go about picking the set list?
Well, it's hard, because I'm a fan, number one.
Sure.
And those first 2 records didn't really leave my whatever player I was using at the time very often.
Right.
But I think I'm trying to pull out a surprise on maybe 1 or 2 that never really were done live. I know I didn't do them live.
Okay.
So, but I'm sticking with the Dave era. So things from the first 2 records. But yeah, the classics, and I have to do Gods of Wrath.
Sure.
I mean, that's my favorite, and most people like to hear that, I guess. So
yeah,
as long as I don't flub that scream in the intro, that's kind of hard shit to live up to.
Well, that's every
20 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's every reason to even take better care of yourself if you're going to do that song.
Well, I am, and actually, to be I guess I'm saying I'm good, to be honest, a lot here, but my voice is even feeling better. It's feeling better than it has. And the notes, just wait.
Nice.
Well, I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm in training.
Well, when you set the crack pipe down, that's usually what happens.
Well, it was really hard because I had to first give up peyote. I don't even know what that is, but still, it's like a button. Anyway, man.
Nice. Well, Ronny, let me transition over to Cave for a second, because that band, I love that, and like you said, it is kind of, if you take Metal Church somewhat out of the picture and listen to everything else that you've done, Electric Wake and stuff like that, it's very in that mold. It's not quite as punching as the Metal Church stuff, I guess, but it's a little more melodic, but it's by no means is it pussy rock either. I mean, it's metal. Talk a little bit about that one and how I know you're the primary writer for that. How do you determine what you're going to write and how you're going to develop the songs for basically a new band that doesn't have an identity that you have to live to?
Well, right off the bat, I mean, Chris Laurie, fantastic player, songwriter, player, person, all the above. He's been in the band Ivanhoe for a few years now, and he does a lot of writing for them. And Roberto Palacios, monster bass player. I met him back in my first tour with Metal Church. He was in Chinchilla at the time. And they were pretty big over there in Germany and all that. And he's the one that actually got a hold of me for this whole thing. But as far as with the music and all that, Chris, well, the first record, there was quite a few songs that were already written that they'd had for years.
Okay.
They just had not, he just put the whole band together and not found the right vocalist until apparently they found me. And when I was there recording, they came in and all asked me if I wanted to be a founding member and stuff like that. Of course, I had to kid with them. I'm like, right, you're now not going to pay my flights over here? And they said, nope. But, like I said, Chris is a great writer, and him and I we have this chemistry that's pretty cool. And but in these 10 songs or so that we have so far for the second record, I got 2 or 3 musically, but lyrically is what I do.
Right.
But on this one, I've given him, like I said, 2 or 3 ideas that I've had, and see what he develops it into. And if it makes it, it makes it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'll say this: it's smooth with these guys, and also it's a collaboration. I mean, Simon, our partner, he could write some lyrics and this and that, and I don't care. It's like back in the day when I was younger, I was really guarded about that. And as you get older and more mature and whatnot, you finally start reaching a lot of different things when you get older, to where it's just like, why was I like that then? Because it's the betterment of the song. It's not your ego. So now it's all about that too. It's kind of like, oh man, if you got, let me hear what you got. And some things they've thrown at me were like, cool, I don't want to change a word. So it's just I think it's a great working relationship that we have, and it's like a family.
Well, Ronnie, were these guys playing together and they invited you to join with them, or did you guys just form this band Cave just kind of organically after, I know this guy and I know this guy, and how did that come together for you?
Okay, well, Chris Laurie, like I said, he had a bunch of songs, him and Simon as well. Those two. And then they were looking for a vocalist, and Roberto remembered me because we also rented Roberto's bus for a tour over there when we played Vakken, and those back in the debauchery days. So he's got some pretty funny stories of me on muddying up his bus. But anyway, he got a hold of me and said, hey, would you be interested in checking these songs out, and what would you charge to, for a song? So basically, of course, I said, well, first send me a couple tracks, let me listen. And immediately I was like, oh, this is really cool. So I said, go ahead and send me a couple more. And then it ended up being Rat in a Hole, which we have that video for. That was the very first song that I wrote lyrically and recorded at home for them and sent it to them. And it was right after that when they actually took them about maybe a half hour before they got back to me, and and all that. But is that answering the question?
Yeah.
Kinda?
Yeah. I mean, it just sort of, they weren't like an established band yet. They were just sort of musicians, had a few songs that they were doing, and had some ideas, and thinking about putting together some kind of a way to perform them.
Basically, yeah. Because like I said, the song, I don't know if you've even seen the video for the ballad Father, which is very touching. I did not write the words to that. That is Chris Laurie's. And he wrote that years ago when his daughter went through brain cancer. And basically, I believe was in a place to where they said that when children go there for that, they generally don't come out. And she did. She's been in remission for many, many years. She's 13 now, and he wrote those words, and and he thought of me as well, considering the past shit that I went through, and be able to deliver it with the right emotion. And I took it to heart, of course, because I was like, hey, this is a child, So I put extra care into that, and I think that turned out really well. But yeah. 5-6 videos we have with these guys. We're on Metalopolis Records, I wanted to mention, who's done a great job for us so far. And, I'm very thankful that when Chris was asking, Roberto dropped my name, and then they reached out to me. So, and I plan on being with these guys for the rest of my career. I really do. This and doing my the Beyond the Raft stuff, because, hey, after Weight of the World comes A Light in the Dark. I'm really looking forward to that. A Light in the Dark, then comes This Present Wasteland.
Right.
Then 10 years later, if I'm still alive, comes Generation Nothing. So I'm going to be doing that and celebrating, because as Chris mentioned earlier, and I'm not going to get into it because it's not worth it. It's all water under the bridge. But when I left Metal Church, it didn't go well. So basically, I guess I kind of got an almost similar story like Ripper. They, he always said that they try to erase him.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much is what has happened with me. And I don't know, so that's Mr. Vanderhoof's deal. But whatever. It is what it is. I've always taken the high road, and I will continue to do so. But I'm going to go out there and with these guys and a great team. Also, I wanted to mention quickly that I've hooked up with Johnny Damate out of San Francisco. He's an agent, sports agent, all kinds of agent, whatever. And so he's starting to book me. I'll be going to Chile pretty soon and a lot of cool places like that with the Beyond the Raft thing in the future. So that with the K, there's a lot of cool things coming up, man.
Let me ask you about this real quick, Ronnie. And sorry, Neeley. With Beyond the Wrath, is there more pressure, especially to go do like a festival? Is there more pressure than doing it with a metal church? Because at least with metal church, you could kind of point at Vanderhoof and say, well, it's his band, I'm just in it. You some of the pressure would be, kind of pushed more to him, where you going out there and representing the songs, now all the pressure comes on you. Is that daunting to you at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm glad you asked that, because actually I'm more now looking forward to go out there and deliver this stuff sober.
Okay.
I did it before, but there was always that party, just like all of us, before you go to a concert, you had to get liquored up or stoned or whatever the hell you were into to think that you were having a better time.
Right.
Look, I don't want to preach here, because look, I may fall off and just have a fucking bottle of Jack Daniels tomorrow. all I know is right now I'm feeling really good, and that's not really on my agenda.
Right on. That's great.
So thank you. I appreciate that, man. But again, it's one day at a time, guys. You see what happens, but after you did, and depression and anxiety and blah blah blah, that's something now that's a thing of the past.
Right. Well, Ronnie, looking back at the Metal Church catalog that you participated in, Chris and I were having just a short discussion before we brought you on the air. And, I'm, obviously the reason you and I even know each other is because of my fandom of Metal Church. And, I came out to numerous shows where you performed, because I came out and hung out with you on several occasions over those years. And, looking at the Weight of the World and Light in the Dark and This Present Wasteland, Weight of the World, when that came out, I was so excited, and I liked the songs and everything, and I enjoyed your performance, but the record, as far as like the production and stuff, it just was flat for some reason. It was just flat. And then Light in the Dark came out, and that thing just punched you right in the face. That was just like, I played the shit out of that.
Still do.
I still do. And then This Present Wasteland came out. Once again, it went back to flat. It just like, songs were good. The sound of Metal Church was there, but it just didn't have that, you know what I mean? That thing that I don't know what it is, but would you like to see those records remastered or remixed?
Oh, sure. And I agree with you. Although I will say Weight of the World was actually done on 2-inch tape. And so, which I think is probably the only recording I've ever done that was on 2-inch tape. But A Light in the Dark was digital.
Yeah, and that just...
but it also, it also has to do with the heart and soul of the person that's writing the material. And then getting in there, which songs are good and all that, but then, Vanderhoof he wears many hats because he engineered and produced all of those, even Generation Nothing. And then after I left, and then they were the Rat Pack, but then Mike came back, of course.
Right.
They started going, they used Chris Zeus or whatever, that he's the awesome dude. So they used him and they stepped it up to do that and all that, because it was obvious things. I mean, they did very well when Mike was in the band, actually better than when Dave was. So, and I got all that, and the only thing I'll say, anything to even touch on that, and then I'll just, after that ended, I'm just very, very sad about how all that went down with Mike, and just feel bad for his family and stuff like that. I just wanted to say that.
Sure.
Great singer and a cool guy, man.
He was a great guy. We've had him on the show. I
only got to talk to him like twice, but it was that length. But We were only acquaintances.
I continued going to see Metal Church. I ran into Mike at least a half a dozen times over the years, and every time I, walked up to say hello, hey, it's so good to see you again. I'm glad you came out. That kind of stuff. Just very upbeat. And when we heard, about his demise, we were just like, what the fuck? That guy was always just like always upbeat and happy and.
Well, it goes to show you right there, Neeley, that you don't know what's going on in people.
True.
Yeah. I mean, they can just seem like they're completely fine, like you just said, but they're dying inside, and then something triggers. Like I said, I just, always my condolences to the family, friends, and fans and all that stuff, because that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
But for me, back to what I'm doing, I'm just trying to be, not the savior, but maybe of my years, my era in Metal Church.
Well, nothing wrong with that.
I'm gonna go out there. I've got great guys around me, and I'm, like I said, man, I'm really looking forward to screaming the crap out of these songs and to go play wherever I can.
Right. Do you consider yourself a different vocalist now? I'll just tell you honestly, I haven't even said this to you, but I consider you a different vocalist now than when you were in Metal Church, listening to the stuff that you did after, specifically Munroe's Thunder. When you were in Metal Church, I think you were fitting a bill. Like you knew what the sound was supposed to be, and that's what you were doing, was doing that sound. Hearing your other stuff, though, you grew, in my ears, you grew into more of an emotional presenter than just a screamer. I think you became a better musician, a better singer. Do you think that when you look back at your, with Cave and with Munroe's Thunder and, the various things that you've done?
I'll say this. I feel that I've grown.
Okay.
And if I haven't, well, then I probably should have given it up a long time ago. But because we all learn from life experience and stuff. But again, and I appreciate that, because again, I was expected, but not too much. Kurt didn't ride me overly to sound like Dave, but it was mentioned.
Okay.
And all that. And plus, me being me, I also wanted to sing the songs as close to Dave as I could, because I was a huge fan, and I used to sing this shit 20 years before I was in the band,
right?
In my car and stuff like that. So, but he did let me be myself quite a bit. But yes, there was that like elements of like, you got to be more Dave here, man, more Dave here, and then I always knew I had more of a voice. And to be honest, I already was singing Journey stuff and things like that long before I got Metal Church. So I had more of that kind of voice. And I did take lessons from David Kyle, which was the maestro out of Seattle, who gave Jeff Tate lessons.
Okay.
Ann and Nancy Wilson of Heart, Terry Young of Rail, Lane Staley. I mean, the list goes on. His walls were filled with people that he had taught. So I had more of that operatic style. So when I got into Metal Church, it actually did help me. But years before that, I sang in covered top 40 bands, 3 sets a night, going from 1 minute I'm singing Thunder Kiss 65 by White Zombie, and then Open Arms by Journey. So that shit's got to help you in some way, if not kill you slowly. But, so I got to sing a lot of different stuff, and I really think that helped me with that. But the Munroe's Thunder thing and all that, I'm being more myself. I'm being me now.
You're kind of like being like Joey Belladonna. He goes from singing Anthrax to singing Journey stuff. I
like Joey. Yeah, and he does Journey well.
Yeah, he does.
He does it very well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually watched some clips that I normally don't do, but I was like, Joey, and sometimes he's doing the national anthem again. So I'll check that out and all that. Yeah, cool guy, man.
Excellent. Well, Ronnie, after all these years, I'm glad you haven't given up the spirit of rock and roll and metal, and you forged ahead and just do your own thing. And can we talk at all about Vicious Rumors at all, or not?
Well, sure.
I know you were in there just a short time, and that, for whatever reason, it must not have been a good fit for you. So what transpired there?
Okay, well, and in all honesty, as always, I was not ready. I thought that I was, but I was not ready to come out of my shell, so to speak, and be out there the way that I used to. And, nothing with the band or anything like that. Great guys, great musicians, and I love the songs. A huge fan, Carl Albert and all that. But I got out there, and like I said, it wasn't the right time. I was forgetting lyrics and stuff, and it was just like the harder I tried, it just kept escaping me. And then finally I was just like, you know what? I can't be doing this anymore. So, well, especially after I had a couple incidents that happened as well that kept me from going over there for a couple things. But I had to sit myself down and go, is this what you should be doing? Is this hurting you, or helping you? Hurting the band or helping the band, kind of thing like that. And I was just like, you know what? No, you need some more time. So that's how it went down. I wish them the best. I'm glad they got Brian Allen back. I'm the one. Brian's been a friend for years. And actually, Brian, before he even got hired, called me to ask me when he got offered the gig, because I turned him down in 2009 after Metal Church first broke up.
Right. They
contacted me because I was living in California at the time, but we couldn't work things out. I'll just say financials and lyric writing, and I will say this: the business end of that band.
It's tough.
It's tough. Oh, there we politely put. But all the other guys in there are awesome. So there you have it.
Well, you seem to be doing better now. I mean, obviously you're
way better
taking stock in yourself and realizing that you need to step up your game a bit if you're going to go out there and continue performing. And
I'll die if I don't.
Well, you're only, as you mentioned before, Ronnie, you're only 58. You're not exactly an old man, so you got a few miles ahead of you. So
what?
I hope
you... All right. Sorry about that.
But if you happen to be performing here in the States, because I know this is kind of a fickle market. Obviously Europe and Germany and stuff is more up your alley to get gigs, or your South America. But here in the U.S., for a former singer of a metal church or Vicious Rumors or whatever, it's a tough environment to get gigs.
I've been working really hard on this tour that I want to do one day. I want to call it the $5 and the Sandwich Tour, in honor of my old friend Jay Reynolds. Oh, sorry, Jay. Anyway,
well, I know this. I'm going to give a shameless plug here for Ronnie. I got to thank Ronnie for something. Ronnie introduced me to a guy named Roy Costin, who I did not know. And Roy needed some help putting together a book. And just this week, I got a signed copy of the book that Roy put out, which I helped put together thanks to Mr. Munroe. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you hooking me and Roy up. That was nice of you.
Oh, hell. I right on, man. Roy is he's a brother and very knowledgeable guy. So sure. You're welcome, man. Anything I can do to help you, and you can help me, and then Neeley can help someone, and
Oh, good, man.
Great book. Like I said, it is very educational. Roy knows what he's talking about. So pick that book up.
Musical family too, because isn't his son now the drummer of Vicious Rumors, right?
Yeah, Gunner. He's in there. Well, he's filling in. But who knows what'll happen with that? I'll stay out of that crap. But Gunner is a fantastic drummer. He's a good kid, a hard worker. He's very well respected by like Roy's friends, the guys, the Gallaghers and Raven. which are great guys too. David,
Sure.
what is it? Dave, the guy from Virgin Steel, the singer. Anyway, Gunner's doing well for himself, and he's young, man. He's like 24.
Right.
Jeez, if only. But we just played Sweden Rock, so I watched a couple videos of him, and it's like these 3 people with long ass blonde hair headbanging, and I thought they were all chicks until Gunner poked his face up. It was
Nice.
Gunner and 2 hot Swedish chicks. And all that. But anyway, aside from that crap, solid drummer, great meter, and yes, very musical family.
Perfect, Ronnie. Well, Ronnie, again, I appreciate you, taking a few minutes and coming on the show. We had hoped to have you on earlier, back a couple of months ago, but I guess you had some other engagements and so on. But regardless of that, as I've told you before many times, you're always welcome on anytime you want to come on. Even if you want to be third mic, you can come on. So.
Oh, all right. Well, I might just do that now that I have more spare, some spare time.
Come on, this is way past your bedtime. Who are you fooling?
I knew you were going to bring that up. Yeah,
all he has to do is turn out the light after this interview.
That's right. He's going to roll to the side, light off, and be asleep in 5 minutes.
Neeley, I said this is the lair. There is no bed in here. All right, fuck it. All right, it's the bedroom. All right. I'm going to have a sandwich, maybe some pudding, and I'm going to go to sleep.
Perfect.
Now that's metal.
Totally not, but that's what it is this day.
Ronnie, I know that you got some, some website, social media presence out there. So where would be the best place to go to find out all about Ronny Munroe?
Chicago. I would say RonnyMunroe.com. There's Ronny Munroe Music Facebook, and there's Ronny Munroe Facebook, but I go to the Ronny Munroe Music one for obvious reasons, unless you want to see pictures of hummingbirds and my cats on my other site.
Nice.
And Instagram, I think right now I'm inventing a few. I have patents waiting for some new social media. I could really give a shit about that anyway, but it's a necessary evil. So yeah, you can find me there, and I'm going to be visible. I'll be around.
All right, perfect.
Shooting my mouth off and whatnot, and hopefully making some people mad, and so I can apologize. And
all right, now you're talking about bringing the old Ronny Munroe back. What are you doing?
Well, I told you it could happen. No. Anyway, guys, hey, it's been awesome. Really has. Good, Neeley, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, same here, Ronnie. I mean, again, I always appreciated the fact that you and I just struck up a friendship right from the get-go. The minute I walked up on you after you had been on the show, and I walked up on you and introduced myself in person, and we just kind of hit it off. So, that was always cool.
Yeah, and I've always remembered you guys as well, man. It's been 20 years.
Yeah, wow. It's been a long time.
Jeez.
Yeah,
but you know what? And you guys have been in my corner since day one.
Yeah,
and I want you to know how much I appreciate that, man. That's a rarity, because I basically probably didn't call you drunk. We might not even be talking right now if that was the case. No, I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
All right,
yeah, guys.
Again, we appreciate it. If you, if you happen to schedule some dates in the Midwest somewhere, I'll be glad to make the trip out and see you and meet up with you again. But anyway, Ronnie has a project out there called Cave, and since you mentioned it earlier in the interview, I thought maybe we would get out of this interview with playing Rat in a Hole. How's that sound?
I'm good with that.
All right, perfect. All right, Ronnie, again. Good to see you. Stay on a good path, and all the best to you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, man.
All right,
cheers.
Remember,
here's Harmony and Horror Festival, July 21st in Harmony, Maine. Beyond the Rough's first show.
Be there.
Perfect.
Be there, or
No, just be there. Just be there. That's it.
Like Chris said, and Neeley too. Take care, guys.
All right, Ronnie.
All right, here it is. It's Cave featuring Ronny Munroe on lead vocal, and this is Rat in a Hole exclusively here
on your classic metal show.
The biggest and the best heavy metal radio station is CMS Network Now. With over 5,000 heavy metal songs from all the subgenres and eras of metal, it ranges far more than almost any station broadcasting today. You can also listen to great radio shows like Charlie Kendall's Metal Shop, the shows of the CMS Network, and even the full episodes of the Classic Metal Show with the music. Visit CMS Network now at www.cmsradio.net or on the CMS Network app in both the iOS or Android stores. There's no need to listen anywhere else for the best